Hear ye, hear ye. To all who shall see these presents, greetings. By order of the High King, I now declare these credits rolling.
On Christmas Day, Pixar's Soul was released, and it warmed our hearts and souls. But, Netflix tried to do what one could consider impossible by competing with Disney by releasing a child's movie on the same day. And that movie is We Can Be Heroes, with returning appearances of Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
I went into this movie without a whole lot of optimism. While the original Shark Boy and Lava Girl was not the greatest movie, it still has a nostalgic place in my heart, and I couldn't bear to see these characters ruined. Thankfully, they didn't get a lot of screen time, but that didn't stop the writers and the directors from ruining literally everything else.
To be honest, I knew that this movie was going to have a lot of the nostalgic feeling that we have from the Spy Kids movies and from, obviously, Shark Boy and Lava Girl as well. But I did not expect the CGI to remain back in 2005 when Shark Boy and Lava Girl came out. So, yeah, that was unfortunate. First off, let me start by saying that as a kids movie, this was still a pretty rough go of it. We had the situation of being introduced to a cast of characters that didn't make a whole lot of sense. And, they tried to do what one could call effectively putting morals into their story. The classic story of, teamwork is the best thing ever and all of that other ridiculousness. The only problem is that they didn't do any of it right. The children's powers didn't even make sense, nor did they know how to use them. And obviously they're kids, so there's going to be a training montage in the middle of this movie. So they have about 3 hours to basically stop the alien invasion into Earth. All of their parents were captured within minutes. And so, they go to the person that trained them, the main character's grandmother. And she's like, yeah, let's do this training montage. And so there's this montage where they basically just wasted a lot of time because, let's face it, you're not going to learn how to effectively use your powers in, 2 hours. And then, there's the whole thing, that plays out later that, the aliens have already invaded and are in our government, and this was all just a test for the kids. And it's just really bad.
At the end of the movie, we find out that not only have aliens already invaded the planet, long before the events of the movie, but they have infiltrated the highest governmental positions, to include the President of the United States and the Director of the Heroics. This is obviously terrible, but everyone just seems to be okay with the whole situation. And you want to know why? It's because they're brainwashing children. On the alien homeworld, it might be okay for children to run things, but it doesn't work that way here on Earth, okay? Now, the movie isn't all bad. The moments where this movie truly shines are where it goes meta, and it explains the problems with modern superheroes. They talk about property damage and tax dollars, and how they always seem to fight in big cities instead of taking the fight somewhere outside the city. All that stuff was great, but when the movie oversteps its boundaries and tries to manipulate real kids in the real world that are watching this movie into thinking that an alien organization secretly controlling everything is in any way acceptable, that is where we draw the line. There was a whole slew of other problems with the movie, and we can go on and on about them all day, but we don't have that kind of time. So instead, I'll just briefly cover a few of the things that we noticed in particular, the more obvious problems with the movie. Ready? Here we go. Rewind is overpowered and underutilized. Fast forward is boring power, but I get it, they're twins. Wildcard should have been Miracle Guy's son, and Wheels should have been Techno's son. Slow-mo is hilarious, but can we not, please? Guppy is great, but liquid and water are not the same thing. Drawing the future and drawing things into existence, also not the same thing. Noodles is overutilized. Acapella, that's not how sound works. Facemaker was written into the movie for a single scene, completely useless the rest of the time. And finally, Bring Your Child to Work Day is a bad idea if you're a superhero and your child is powerless. We Can Be Heroes wants to be this generation's Spy Kids, but ultimately fails in that regard. Instead, it attracts adult millennials who grew up with the original Spy Kids and Shark Boy and Lava Girl, to ultimately be disappointed that the CGI has not improved in the slightest in 16 years, and that the movie appears to push a pro-alien invasion agenda. While I'm sure that kids will find the movie entertaining and even enjoyable, judging this movie purely on the fundamentals of movies, even kids' movies, we find out that We Can Be Heroes fails where others in the same similar category have succeeded. We rate this movie a 3 out of 10. We wouldn't have left the hypothetical theater, but please do not make us watch this movie again.
If you've got a movie you want us to review, let us know. Reach out, leave a comment, and check out our social media pages that can be found in the link tree down below. And if you're feeling especially generous, check us out on Patreon, where you can make sure your movie will get reviewed. And with that being said, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And we'll see you the next time the credits roll.